So Noah, so tell me the whole concept of this album. What's the whole arc of this album? Because from the very first song, "Luxury," to the last song, "Family," there's like a very art, and you see the growth in your music and not in your rhymes as well. Was that on purpose, or that just kind of like happened on accident?
Honestly, the way that it kind of worked out was I feel like every performance in general should be like a natural progression, you know. So I wanted to start off with something that caught people's ears. So it was like, okay, this kid doesn't suck. But then you know, continue to get better and better as each track progressed, which you mentioned. But the idea of this album kind of stemmed from me wanting it to be a representation of who I am, basically. Because as you can see, it's titled Noah. You know, not just titled Noah because that's my name, but because I feel like that is something that gets across who I am. You know what I mean? And each song reflects a different part of my personality. So, you know, we got Luxury, I Don't Want It That Bad, One in a Billion. You know, Kings and Queens, something that I can be like really philosophical about, and then have some like romantic songs for the honeys. You know what I'm saying? And then in addition to that, you know, show another side of me. But I don't want it that bad. My mama brought me up with a lot of discipline and a high respect for women, dude. So as you can see through my music, it's kind of like I've just since an early age been raised to think differently about a lot of things. I've never found myself being like everybody else, and so I'd like to think from an early age I've just always been different, you know.
I can respect that. So let's just talk about a couple of songs that caught my ear. First of all, I want to talk about Kings and Queens.
Mic check, one. Yeah. Shorty developed at a very young age, looking like she's 20, only in the 9th grade. 14 years young, got a body like a Coke bottle, all because her daddy didn't care to be a role model. So she looking to the TV and the magazines to cultivate an image of perfection that she has to be. A tragedy to be blessed by genetics.
Man, the way that I wanted to tackle a lot of the problems that I see just within my general age group, you know, teenagers, high schoolers, even middle schoolers now, because kids are growing up so quickly. I just see a lot of girls, man, a lot of insecure women who just don't really recognize the value that they have, you know, so they feel almost obligated to be someone that they're not in order to feel beautiful, you know, in terms of the standards that's set by today's society. So I kind of wanted to open up girls' eyes and give them a glimpse into how beautiful they actually are. That's where the queen aspect comes from the song, and then the kings is more like I see a lot of guys nowadays just so caught up in a lot of shallow things, man. You know, women, oh, I hit this chick last week, I was with that girl, I did a bunch of weed at this party, I drank all kinds, and I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, you're a horrible person if you do those things, but I feel like there's a lot more to life than just focusing on temporary pleasures, you know what I mean? And especially if disrespecting another person comes, you know, as a product of that lifestyle, then that's not something that I want to be an advocate of, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, you know, build people's confidence. That the inspiration from that song was actually a lot of Tupac, you know, like Keep Your Head Up. You can probably hear that in the song. I just wanted to reach out and give people, you know, a more refreshing outlook on who they are.
Next, I want to talk about Moonlight. How'd that one come about? Because we were speaking about this in the car, and you said like the whole intro was just like an accident.
Remember way back when I was in the 1st grade, when the only thing I thought about was... Remember way back when I was in the 1st grade, when the only thing I thought about was half days. So I could watch Dragon Ball Z with my older brother Serge and have more time to go play. Nowadays all I think about is getting paid. Nowadays all I think about is getting and I just wanna catch a few Z's in just a few seasons. So much has changed, and in just a few years I'ma fly up in a plane while the people down below are all screaming my name. I promise not to let the fame get into
Yeah, Yeah. Okay. So, if you heard the song, if you haven't heard it, I advise that you go listen to it. It the way that it works is before I actually start recording. So, say I'm about to record a verse, I want to make sure that I'm on pitch. You know, I'm in the right key. I have the right energy. So I like to get out basically all my, just get loose before I actually start recording. So right before I was gonna go into my verse and even the chorus and the second verse in that song, I was kind of warming up my voice like, check, check, like just like kind of just saying whatever came to mind just for the sake of getting my voice warm. And when I heard it back after we recorded it, I actually liked the way that it sounded because it added to the playful, like young vibe that I was going for with that song. So Moonlight, dude, the inspiration for that, I was just sitting at my piano one day and just started messing around on some chords and I came up with the hook. Sometimes I wish I could go back into the time when I was a youngin' with less on my mind. And I wanted to be like a real nostalgic song because something about music that reminds you of yourself when you were younger, just kind of reflect on a simpler time, I felt like would be a really powerful key component of my album. So I wanted to integrate something like that literally everybody could hear and say, hey, this reminds me of when I was a little kid. So there's actually a reference to that song back in the day when I was young. I'm not a kid anymore. Some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. That song was a big inspiration because every time you hear that, it just reminds you of
just when you was a kid growing up.
Back in the days. So
did you listen? I don't even think you were born when that song came out.
No. My mom used to listen to it a lot, and I heard it in a movie called The Wood.
Yeah, that was a good
seen
movie.
The Wood? Yeah.
That's the first song.
Song that plays in the movie.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the way it used to be, and how much of my life was between you and me. You were sunlight, and I was your moon, reflecting everything about you that shined. Now I'm all alone with memories of us playing on the wall inside of my mind.
Alright, so the way that it started, I came up with the hook first. I was actually going to the bathroom, and I'm not trying to be too graphic here. I was going to the bathroom, and I got like a really catchy tune in my head because a while back there was this beat that I made, and it kind of had a similar like trumpet pattern that it has on the hook, and I'm Cool, but it was a little darker. It was more trappish. But I figured I would twist it, make an R&B track out of it. I was thinking all this while I was going to the bathroom. My mind just races on a daily basis. But I was like, okay, and then I started humming it, and I was like, all right, I could vibe to it a little bit. And then I came up with the words, I'm cool, something simple. You hear it once, you can sing it, because it's just, 2 words, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much does it take to recite that? But so it started with the hook, and then the concept obviously came from that hook. And then I was just recently out of a relationship last year, and I don't know, I just felt compelled to make a song. And the first verse of that song, I actually tried to write from her perspective. It was more along the lines of just like, regardless, like even though we broke up, I wanted to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that, I'm grateful that we were together. I guess it's one of the lines in the song, I'd rather have you and lose you than not have you at all. So I feel like it's bittersweet, dude. All relationships are, and I figured a breakup song is something that anyone that's ever been in a relationship can relate to. And I just felt compelled to do that because it was something that was on my mind at the time, and a good song was birthed out of that. That song came out like half a year after the breakup. I started writing it like 6 months later. But
it just made you. What made you think of that song? Just like you said, you just had to get it off your chest.
Yeah, it just kind of closed the book. On the relationship. Like next chapter, basically. Like this is over. Time to put a seal on it and ship it off. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was some closure for me. There were still some loose ends that I tied up with that song. So that was the purpose.
it so happily. You know where we are, you can find us up in Sunny Hills. When I make it big, I'ma show you how the money feels. But as for now, all I got to give is appreciation and lots of love that I'm sure will be reciprocated. It's amazing, man, I'm counting on my blessings, blessed beyond belief to be related to my best friends. And when I'm with you all, everything is fine. Ain't no worry on my mind and I lose track of time. Laughter and conversation over great food always got me walking out the door in a great mood. Yeah, we fight sometimes, but what family doesn't? That's what happens when you truly love another person. There's honestly no place that I'd rather be than chilling with my one and only family. I love all good times roll.
Man, my family, dude, they're crazy as hell. Man, they drive me crazy, but I love them all. And I feel like the only people that can really drive you crazy in life are the people that you love. You know what I mean? So family stems from just me kind of reminiscing on hanging out with my family and how good it makes me feel, dude. It's just such a positive energy that I get when I'm with my grandma, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, cousins, because it's nothing but love. You know, you can be who you are, come as you are, and not have to worry about being judged or anything like that. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people experience when they're with their family and their loved ones, but not everyone is necessarily like fortunate enough to be able to put that into words. So I felt like not only was I expressing myself, but I was doing everyone else a service that really couldn't quite communicate how they felt. And when I'm with my family, dude, I love them all, and those words just float off the top just because I love the hell out of my family.
That's a real cool song, though. I mean, there's not a lot of MCs, you don't hear a lot of MCs talk about their family life in that regard. So it is refreshing to actually hear that every now and again. It's like, wow, like, all right. I mean, every family has heartaches and fights, but you made it sound like, yay, man, like, we have our differences, but at the end of the day, we all get along, and that's what matters.
One of the lines in the song is, "Yeah, we fight sometimes, but what family doesn't." That's what happens when you truly love another person. Like, that's true.
Yeah, that's straight facts right there, my man.
Yeah.
I gotta applaud you though, dude. Your album, man, it's dope. Honestly, like I listened to it after I spoke to you at Strawberry Festival, and I listened to it all the way through, and I was very impressed. Very dope.
Appreciate it.
So, all the beats and all the production, that was all you?
Yeah, everything. Everything was me. I produced all the beats, all the drum patterns, 0 samples. Everything was, original. Kings and Queens. I was actually playing the guitar in that song. I was telling him on the way up here. He didn't even know that. So I don't know. I don't only express myself through lyrics and whatnot, but I feel like there's something that I can't communicate with words, so I have to put it into noises and sounds in order to properly communicate the point that I'm trying to get across. So I can't do that through other producers because I can't put my mind in another producer's head. So I figure, who better to make my music than me? So no disrespect to anyone that buys their beats or anything, because there's nothing wrong with that. But I just personally feel driven to make my own Kings and Queens. Shawty developed at a very young age, looking like she's 20, only in the 9th grade, 14 years young, got a body like a Coke bottle, all because her daddy didn't care to be a role model. So she looked into the TV and the magazines to cultivate an image of perfection that she has to be. A tragedy to be blessed by genetics when you hate who you're becoming, but you love all the attention. Covering your insecurities with all that makeup, unless it's caked up, you wouldn't even lift your face up. Wake up and understand that you're a queen. Understand that you're a queen, even if you don't put on the case of Maybelline. God don't make mistakes is what grandma would say to me. Well, if that's the case, then what you see is make-believe. Listen to the words in the song, please take a seat and open up your eyes for me. Why can't you see that we're all kings and queens? I hope you see that we're all kings and queens. I got love for all my kings and queens. That's exactly who we are, kings and queens. This was for my young boys who don't know who to be. Been struggling and wandering with no identity, but you notice that when you're rolling with the majority, everybody falls in love with who you pretend to be, so you choose to be liked at the expense of your health. Smoking weed and sipping drink while you lie to yourself. Look inside of yourself. Wouldn't you rather take pride in yourself and be who you really are, quit denying yourself? Because even if you don't get popularity, you gotta learn to value you. I'm speaking all these words from a heart of sincerity. I'm telling you, I value you. Wake up and understand that you're a king. Carry yourself with confidence and focus on your dreams. No one in the world could ever take away your thing from a strong young man who knows who he wants to be. I said wake up and understand that you're a king. Carry yourself with confidence and focus on your dreams. No one in the world could ever take away your thing from a strong young man who knows who he wants to be. Why can't you see that we're all kings and queens? I hope you see that we're all kings and queens. I got love for all my kings and queens. That's exactly who we are, kings and queens. It saddens me to see all you beautiful girls and the nasty things you let these men do to you girls. Because even if you think he's being true to you, girl, what you give him in return is gonna ruin you, girl. Because you're looking for love, but you're dressing for lust. And that's the very message that you're sending to us. But you're constantly in pain, seeing men are all the same. And that's all because your own character has never changed. And boys, I got a message for you. It seems like we got some respecting to do. I think it's about time we learned a lesson or two. And these lyrics may not be pleasant for you, but check it out. Your M.O. is having sex. Adding to your list of broken hearts and begging chicks. Smashing every diamond sight, then on to the next. But it takes a real man to show love and respect. Quit manipulating women for your personal desires. Following a plan that you secretly conspired. Telling her you love her just so you could be inside her. You're the very reason women think most men are liars. A queen should never have to try to be loved. And a king gives respect like it's never enough. Noah has a heart and a hug for the broken, so holla at your boy with that bottled up emotion. Why can't you see that we're all kings and queens? I hope you see that we're all kings and queens. I got love for all my kings and queens. That's exactly who we are, kings and queens.
Fresh up in the spot, so you're looking from a distance. I'd be a fool if I let myself miss this. I ain't even trying to make this girl my missus, but I walk up to her thinking it'd be cool to get the digits. How you doing? I go by the name of Noah. I'm just saying that I like to get to know you. Baby girl, I got some things that I can show you. Then she hit me back with deuces saying nigga sayonara. I'm like, what? Why you acting like the baddest? Got shots staying fire like a semi-automatic. I know dudes probably constantly trying to get at it, but to be completely honest, you ain't all that attractive. Approaching you ain't even something that I had to do. Then you go and hit a brother with an attitude. Shawty start climbing, you ain't even on my latitude. You under the impression that no other girl is bad as you. I see you walking like you rule the world. You playing.
Thanks for watching. If you're still watching this, appreciate it. Get my album on iTunes. It's on Amazon, MP3, Google Music Store, all that stuff. On Spotify, just search Noah Lopez and I'll pop right up. And,
Yeah, you on Spotify?
yeah, I am on Spotify.
Yeah. This little kid right here doing big things.